back to this thing that's still going, the Puppet
The
Productions
PP
podcast, as far as you're
podcast.
concerned. Yeah. The only podcast to have its format stolen by another podcast I listen to. But I'm not gonna,
Seriously?
sort of. They're doing like the puppet synced up to the mouth movements thing.
Oh, god damn it.
But I by no means invented that, so
No,
I'll let
George,
it
that
slide.
is your copyright.
yeah.
That is your artistic
I
copyright.
didn't even
right
write the
there.
code for it myself. I just like copy and pasted like the script from the internet.
But God, before we started recording, we were talking about like a certain friend of ours in regards to like
Yeah.
debating, and that's something I actually kind of
boy.
wanted to talk about. Was like there's people, and I'm guessing everybody, all one of you apparently that are listening to this. Apparently something that people do in arguing is you have people who they don't necessarily know anything about the topic, but they'll just use vocabulary that lends itself to sounding like they do. Like I think the best example I heard was there's like rant YouTubers who like do rant videos on someone.
Yeah.
And it's like an entertaining 20 minutes where you feel like their brain is flexing on you, but then at the end of it you don't really learn anything.
Yeah.
I think that was the allegory I heard for it. Is that allegory?
Analogy.
But analogy. Allegory is a different thing.
Yeah. Although that could sort of work as well, but that's beside the point. Go on.
It's like there are people who structure their arguments a lot more around like making the other person's point seem silly, but then not really addressing their own ones over someone who just states their opinions flatly.
Yeah.
Like I remember I got told by a friend of mine that I'm not very good at arguing because a problem I have is that I oversimplify my arguments. But I just feel like I'm saying them how I think them.
Well, I think there's
I'm not.
kind of two kinds of debating people do. There's debating to win and debating to find the truth.
Yeah.
So for debating to win, you just want to like the other person to admit defeat, and you kind of use as much confusing language and stuff as it takes. But debating to find truth, you just like you want to find understanding, so you like make yourself as understandable as possible.
Yeah, that's something that I like prefer doing anyway because like we're not politicians.
Yeah.
Politicians argue to win. That's why a lot of the time the shit they spew is a load of horse shit. Because they don't have any actual facts to substantiate it. All they do is they make their opponents look stupid. And it just comes off as very hypocritical when they do it, but that's besides the point. I just don't like how people, these days, it seems like you've got more people who do what you described, the arguing to win thing.
Yeah.
Because it seems to, like, satisfy people a lot more.
Yeah, well, I guess people don't like being wrong.
Yeah,
So
it's
just,
like
They do it to like defend their ego more so than anything else.
well, either to defend their ego or because they like something a lot and they don't want to address
Yeah, don't want to
the
compromise.
facts. Yeah, it's easier to have an extreme view on something rather than a nuanced one.
Yeah.
Which
Even though in most cases, like if there is like an argument to be made for both sides for both extremes, like some level
The
of compromise is probably best.
yeah. Which, when you start applying it to a lot of other subjects, it can make some very uncomfortable arguments.
Yeah.
Oof. What else? Oh, also, have you been enjoying the heat, George? Because at the
No.
time of recording this,
I'm not enjoying the heat. I had to turn my fan off and close my window to record this, and I'm like dying in here.
to date this podcast, we're at a horrifically hot 29 degrees, going up to 31.
And I've got like
And
a
I
leather
mean-
chair that like sticks to me in the heat.
I get that in like 2 years' time, that's going to be like, oh boy, I sure love that autumn weather right there. I sure love
no.
that not at
Yep,
all
global warming.
that moderate heat. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much. Have you seen England from space recently over the last few
No.
months? There was like some picture on the Telegraph, so totally reliable news source.
Oh, nice.
And it's just like everything is just burned. It's just a tundra.
Oh wow.
It's like, oh, that's great. Also, the fact there's been loads of fires as well lately.
Yeah, my town caught fire. Well, we've already
Oh.
discussed this. I live in that town that you're friend has a farm on that caught
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, wasn't it one
Thanks
of the
for
farms
doxing
burned
me.
down? Oh, fuck. You can bleep
No, I
that
don't even
out.
care. No one listens to this.
I mean, you don't know, George. We might take off as YouTube sensations.
Yeah.
And then they'll single you out by your name,
I might
George.
bleep it.
It's such a rare name, you know,
Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
So
They'll
find
look for
you with
George
these.
spelt with like 2 J's, though.
You see, that's how you bait and switch them. They'll
yeah.
think that your name is actually spelt like that, but in reality, it's spelled Jyoge. He's very Nordic. Oh, okay, it is working. Thank goodness.
Yay.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We've recovered from my computer freezing.
Yeah, his computer decided to I don't know.
It used to do that a lot, and then I got the RAM replaced, and it stopped doing that for a bit, but it started doing it again. I think it might be related to heat.
Oh dear. I hope that my computer...
Because it didn't do it when like my fan was on, but now it's off because I'm recording.
Oh, is your PC fan really loud?
No, it's just like I've got a fan on my desk that like was blowing stuff into it.
Oh. Your computer sounds...
It's probably fine.
Your computer does not sound very healthy if it needs an external fan to keep it cool.
It doesn't... Yeah, it's not very healthy.
That's like if I needed an iron lung to breathe.
Although in like... Sure. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't be very healthy if you need an iron lung. But like in Texas, they have like your iPhone. They have iPhones that just shut down because it's so hot.
You see,
so I guess it's like that.
But in
that's bad design in and of itself, though. Really.
Yeah, the iPhone isn't exactly like the pinnacle of engineering, or by any means the exemplary piece of technology that people should be looking at when going, this is how you make a reliable product that is built to last. These totally aren't built with planned obsolescence in mind.
Yeah,
that's something that annoys me. Is
what? Just Apple?
No, just companies that do planned obsolescence with what they're selling, because it
especially with like such expensive things as iPhones.
Yeah, well, it's also the fact that there's this weird culture of like people who will just buy a new phone every year, like it's a normal thing to do. It's just that's so much money gone. You could spend that so much better. I mean, I guess. Well, no, that's the thing. Is like these people who are normally like really obsessed with iPhones don't even use them like the amount that.
Yeah, they don't use all the new functionality.
Yeah, it's like
they could probably everything they do could be accomplished on like an iPhone 3G.
Yeah, and let's be real, right? I highly doubt anybody who buys a single. I mean, I guess people who buy like the full Apple set. Like, I know one guy in my university who has a Mac, an Apple Watch, and an iPhone, and he's like, oh, they link together so seamlessly. And I'm like, couldn't you just accomplish the same, like, thing with an Android and, like, a computer? Like, I'm pretty sure that you can do that.
Yeah, you can. You can just use your Google account and it'll syncs up pretty well.
Also, why the hell do you need an Android watch and a phone? Or an Apple Watch and an iPhone? One would make the other redundant.
He's obviously so busy, he needs to reply to things so quickly he doesn't have time to take his phone out.
It's like, I remember he told me one of the features was like, oh, when my phone rings, everything rings, and it's like, that just sounds scary. It's like, imagine you're just at home and suddenly you're like, I don't know, you're making toast and it suddenly starts ringing and you're like, oh Christ, which of my 20 appliances is going off now? The reason your phone rings is so that you can spot where it is quickly. If everything is ringing at once, that defeats the point.
It's just like a weird cacophony of the default Apple ringtone echoing through his house.
And then he realizes, oh god, imagine if like the whole Futurama like iPhone thing became real and your eye just starts ringing. Just have like various organs just vibrating. You're just like, oh lord, why? Why did I do this? Why did I submit myself to Apple? This was a mistake. So yeah, anyway.
Speaking of Futurama, have you seen that new Matt Groening show that's coming out?
There's a new Matt.
It's near like a fantasy thing.
I have not.
Yeah, I've seen like some concept art around, like floating around on Twitter and stuff. It looks kind of like Futurama but fantasy.
That sounds...
Which I think looks promising.
That sounds pretty lit, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
how close to Futurama are we talking? Are we saying that they're literally taking like bits from the plot of Futurama? Like,
Not sure about the plot. I've just seen like a picture of like a main character riding a horse with like a little demon character that looks like Scratchy from The Simpsons.
all right then.
There's all that stuff. That same kind of Matt Groening art style.
Matt Groening.
Yeah.
I always heard it as Matt Groening, but now that you say Matt Groening, I just imagine it's like, hey Matt, we need to make a few new storyboards, some new Simpsons episodes.
Yeah, I think it's Matt. I think it is actually Matt Groening because, and like the Treehouse of Horror episodes of The Simpsons, they change it to like bat moaning.
That's great.
Yeah.
Have you know?
What's your opinion on The Simpsons?
Do you have anything
to be honest, say about
it has a special place in my heart. The older episodes, the ones that I used to watch when I was younger. To be honest, there were some like maybe not so great ones that I used to enjoy as well. But it's like it feels like a staple of our culture in the West. You know, it's like.
Yeah.
It's one of those constants. I think Family Guy could do with disappearing because it's just a poor man's Simpsons. That I think it's the thing that irritates me with Family Guy the most is how hard it tries to be an adult cartoon. Like they forcibly add in so much like stuff that is like, we're not a kids show. We say fuck all the time. We show penises and blood. Actually, no, they don't show penises. Never mind. They'll show them in like weird anthropomorphized forms, but beyond that, like they just sort of go, heck. We don't say the H word because we're good with Jesus. Well, I don't think they do that, but still. That's more of, what was the show that I'm thinking of? There was one show that was like very... No, can't remember. Maybe it's, I think it might be, that's a whole different one. I'm thinking of the Butch-Hearted Man.
Oh, yeah.
With his goddamn... I don't even know what religion he is. Was he a Mormon? Or was he a born-again Christian? I can't remember.
I don't know, I just seen him say Christian stuff.
Yeah,
So he said he wants to impart Christian morals to the youth.
Oh god.
What do you think of that? Do you have a strong opinion about that?
I think that Butch Hartman is credited way more than he's actually done. Which is why I think people saying shit like, you can't enjoy, or not even you can't enjoy, oh man, Butch Hartman made my childhood with Danny Phantom, but he sucks, now it hurts. Like, not really. If you look at his artwork, you can tell that he didn't really do much of, like...
Well, he does have, like, a writing credit on every episode, pretty much.
Yeah, but, like, the ones that he's directed are explicitly the worst ones. Like, I think everyone points out that... Oh, sorry about that little rubbing sound. That was just me plugging my headset in.
Don't worry about it, the show must go on.
Yeah, the show must go on, even with weird scratching sounds that everyone else is going to hear.
Yeah. But the show must go on to you continuing to talk about Butch Hartman.
Oh, yeah, no, it's just...
I kind of want to discuss
this. The thing that irritated me with Butch Hartman was that you look at his artwork, and it's not that good. I'll be totally honest. Yeah. Like, you can tell that he does the sketching. It's definitely his style. But if you were to, say, look at when he tries to colour things, especially, you can tell that he doesn't understand anything about colour theory at all. The colours he uses are just awful looking. Like, let me see if I can pull up an example. And it just doesn't look very nice. And that would be fine if he was willing to admit that, like, that was a weakness of his. Like, he didn't know how to draw certain things or certain colours. Then he doesn't. Instead, he goes the opposite route of, if you haven't been as successful as I have been, then you cannot comment on my drawings. And it's just, I don't like that mindset at all. It's just so... It's something that someone who's
I don't like his elitist attitude.
Yeah, it's like, here, have a little... So this is like the cover for a show that he worked on, right? And this looks fine. Now let's look at something that he himself drew, like without someone else cleaning up after the fact. Notice how the colours are utter shit. Notice how it, like, hurts the eyes to look at. It's like, you can tell that he doesn't really, like... he doesn't think about how, for example, neon green and neon red don't really mix well together. Or how for some reason, he really likes adding yellow lighting to the outside of everything. And instead of making it look like it's illuminated, it just looks like it's surrounded with piss.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I don't get it.
Do you have any like opinions about the whole like Christianity, about the whole like pushing Christianity thing?
I don't agree with it, but at the same time, I don't see it as anything different from any other show pushing its political or ideological agendas down people's throats. Like, let's be real. Shows like I think the best example would be Steven Universe. They kind of do push their beliefs, like to the same extent that Butch Hartman. In fact, no. You know what? I'd say that Butch's shows don't really reflect his beliefs that much. Like the fact that I didn't know he was a Christian from any of his shows. You know, really, I'll give him credit there, or Nickelodeon credit for like holding him off on that. But from my knowledge, I don't remember Danny Phantom at any point going, "Oh man, I sure do love Jesus," even though ghosts and shit are demonic.
Although he does kind of like, he kind of. It's just like I think it's not so much about like the Christianity part of Christianity. It's about like the morality part. I was just kind of saying like.
Hearing him talk, he's definitely
saying like murder's bad and.
Nah, he's definitely into the spiritual part of it. But then again, he is a born again Christian, so I don't know Butch Hartman's like autobiography. I don't know his history, so for all I know, if he's a born again Christian, it could mean that he wasn't like religious at the time of making those shows.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because I'm not sure actually. Butch is an interesting dude, I'll give him that. But at the same time, I think most people are frustrated by him because he doesn't exactly have a level of quality that in this day and age would allow you to be a successful artist. Like,
yeah, he kind of just got like. I think he got like lucky more than anything else.
Oh yeah, it's like if he
had like a string of good luck that got him to where he is.
Pretty much. It's like if he'd been born a teenager today, drawing at the level of skill that he currently is, he just wouldn't fit in at all. He'd not be relevant in any way whatsoever. And this isn't even me trying to be spiteful. It's just me saying there are plenty of people who are much better than him that will never achieve the same level of success. And I think that the only reason he was as successful as he is was because he didn't have any competition. Or he didn't have very strong competition, because he doesn't draw that well, once again.
Yeah, he was lucky to be born in the Hollywood bubble.
Yeah, no, he really was. Like, if he wasn't, he'd just be some nobody on the internet, probably. Like us!
Yeah.
But you know what? That's fine. I admit that I'm a nobody on the internet. And I imagine that... I don't know how you feel about yourself on the internet, to be honest, but, like... I'm very adamant that I am a nobody on the internet, and I'm quite comfortable staying that way, because I don't want to ever delude myself into thinking I'm more than what I am.
I suppose I value mainstream media more than internet media, in terms of, like, where I'm putting my efforts, at least, because I'm like... Because I wrote and partially animated a short film that's like being shown at a film festival later this year, and that's my crowning achievement for now.
That's
more so than anything I've like put on Tumblr.
That's pretty impressive, though. That like takes a lot of work, and it's...
Yeah, too bad I was forced to for my coursework, so I probably wouldn't have done it like of my own accord.
Well, I imagine it'd be very difficult to do without the university behind you. I mean, I can just imagine me trying to walk in there like, "Hey man, can you put this looping meme gif I did up on the on the old projector, eh?" Like, I don't need you to use your projector, don't worry. I'll get my one from university and project it onto side of building. It's a really strong projector.
Yeah, just break into a theatre and swap like and like plug your laptop into the projector and change the viewing from like modern film to your memes.
But to be fair, aren't meme compilations truly the newest modern films? or the more true to reality modern films.
They're the media of the people.
They are the poetry of the proletariat.
Yeah.
You know, we express our frustrations and our beliefs and thoughts and feelings through memes.
Yeah.
The reason that they take off as memes is because we can relate to them, and thus, as a result, we end up sharing them more. Damn, that got a little bit philosophical over there, a little bit pretentious.
Yeah, you did a better job selling Metal Gear Solid 2 than I did. And that time I tried to sell Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh my goodness.
Because that's what it's about.
You're still trying to figure out a way to summarize why you like Metal Gear.
Yeah, not actively.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's good. I'm glad.
I could write an essay about it, but like.
But why would you?
I need that off the cuff.
Here's a good question, right? Why would you write an essay about Metal Gear and why you enjoy it? Isn't it enough to just say, I really enjoy it? These things in it were good.
I suppose I want other people to to explain to other people why I like it. Because it's not as simple as it's fun. It's very much like it's interesting.
True, but at the same time, who on earth reads an essay in this day and age?
Oh, I listen to video essays quite a lot.
Really? Huh. I didn't even know that video essays were a thing. I thought that was just podcasts.
Oh, it's just like little 20-minute videos saying like Metal Gear Solid 2 is good because.
Oh, those.
And it's there's an audience for them.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, fair enough. You got me there.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else to mention.
Well, yeah, I went to Hyper Japan this week.
Dude,
that was fun.
Was it like Japan but massively stereotyped?
I think yeah, probably, but it seemed, I don't know, it was weird. It was like just an anime convention, basically.
I do kind of wonder, like, how would the world react if they had like their own equivalent of the anime community, but for every country? It's like, can you imagine people who are like, oh, I really love African culture, and then you just have people wandering around, and they're just like, they'll just randomly like at you or something, and go, oh, sorry, that is this random tribe's language for hello, you uncultured swine, you would not understand this, obviously. Or like in America, it's just like, someone who's like obsessed with America, it's like, while you were out having fun with your friends, I studied the gun. It's just, I don't know, I feel like that would be really funny to watch, because it would border so much on
America-phile.
I guess it'd be like affectionate racism, wouldn't it? Because it's people who are obsessed with the positives without accepting any of the negatives of something, and it like gets eerily into, is this a racist thing to say? Because the thing is that you're assuming something about like a country based on like your very narrow perspective of what you've gained from it so far. It's like it's not even necessarily like a oppressive type of racism so much as a you're a fucking idiot who's deluded type. It's like how,
I guess the best example of that would be like white people listening to like American black rap music.
That sounds, I want you to elaborate on that a little bit, because sounds like you're implying American black rap music is shit, which I wouldn't disagree with, mind you.
I like it. I like rap music. Like the thing I'm referring to, there was like, do you know who Kendrick Lamar is? Have you heard of him?
Yes, I do know who Kendrick Lamar is.
Yeah, he was like having a concert, and he was playing his well-known song Mad City, which contains the N-word like 26 times, I think. And he invited this like white woman up on stage to like sing it with him.
Oh god, and she like gets booed.
And she went in with it. She was like wholeheartedly like,
yeah, she just said nigger,
doing her thing. Yeah.
And also, oh crap, I just said the N-word on YouTube.
Oh no, demonetized. No, it's fine. You're black enough.
Yeah, but that's not. They don't see that. They just see a yellow guy on screen. They might just think I'm an Asian.
Yeah, but he does have an afro.
They might just think I'm Japing, or what even is a Japanese or an Asian, like Asian Africans like mix?
Blasian.
A Blasian. That sounds like they would master fire.
Yeah.
I am from the Blasian clan. We have mastered firebendings. For some reason, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I think I might actually be a little bit on the Blasian side because we do have some Muslim in our bloodline. So
nice.
like very distant Muslim.
Yeah. So you can just like you're every race.
Yeah,
you're the Avatar.
The Omni
You'll unite
race.
the nations.
I'll scream, Nibber, Zipperhead, Heave. Oh my god. Oh no, that's such a shitty version of the Avatar.
If we weren't demonetized, we are now.
Yeah, boy. It's like instead of bending the elements, they can just say really really trigger happy words. It's like, oh no,
they can just
the Nibber Nation attacked.
They can say all the words, and everyone just has to be kind of okay with it.
Yeah, only a select few can say nigger.
Yeah, like no one's like fully happy with it. They're all just like kind of like you say the N word, and black people are like, yeah, but then they don't flat out like come and beat you up for it because you're like sort of black.
Yeah.
And you like say the other words, and the other races are kind of uncomfortable with it. And you're just there, like being happy.
If I were to smack that man, it would be kind of hypocritical, so I won't. Instead, I will fold my arms and look at him in a disapproving manner. God damn you, Blasian. Crap. I actually had like a serious point to talk about, but I forgot.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no! I just remembered. It was just some dumb thing extending from the whole like people thinking way too much about themselves. I see a lot of people who have like maybe 1,000 followers on social media, and they're like, "Holy shit! I'm made it. I'm there." It's like, no, you can make like maybe £5 a month tops if you were to like monetize what you make. Maybe if you e-begged, you could make a little bit more, but it's beyond that. No. Even when you start entering like the 10k ballpark, it's still hard to get by.
Although there's like,
you gotta work hard.
I don't remember how many it was, but I saw like a theory saying like to survive as an artist, all you need is like, I don't remember whether it was like 1,000 or 10,000, but like true fans.
I think if you true fans, yeah, that's the issue. Yeah. It's like, I think
they like qualify a true fan as someone that's willing to spend like more than $100 on you per year.
Oh hell no!
Which I think is quite a lot. I don't think there's anyone I'm willing to like spend that.
I don't think there's anyone period who would be willing to spend that much on anybody.
The people that like make good enough content that I would want to do that, they don't make content frequently enough to facilitate that.
Yeah, I guess JonTron. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you just bumped my mic.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, like JonTron is probably the one guy that comes to mind. But like artists themselves, I don't think there's like. The issue with art is that like a commission, you can get a commission, that's fine. But for me personally, like you don't need to commission £100 worth of artwork from someone. That's completely unnecessary. It's like I treat art in the same way that I would treat like a houseplant. Or just a decoration in your house. It's something that's there to like characterize your house and like give people an impression of what you are. And the reason you commission an artist is because you want to not only get something that reflects that artist, but also something that reflects you and how you feel. That's the whole point of it. So if you're going to then go up to an artist and go, I would like to buy... Like, the only time I can think someone would spend £100 on an artist is for porn. That's the only time I've seen that happen.
I think the idea is supposed to be like... It's like for a bunch of different things. It's like... For like a... I think the example they gave was like for a band, you'd spend like... You'd buy like... Their album for £10, you'd buy like a mixtape for another £10, you'd like... go to their concert for like £50. You buy like a T-shirt for £20. That's how like, they get their £100.
Oh, I for some reason I was looking at this through exclusively internet artist lens. And
that's like it's like art kind of like art with a capital A, the general thing.
I mean, let me think. So let's take our friend, mutual friend here, Scorsese, for example.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
Shout out to our friend Scorsese. Very little guy. You might not have heard of him. Not got that many followers on social media. He's still up and coming. You know, he's all right. He does deserve a little bit more love. Let's see if we can get him to 50 followers, my dudes. No. God. But he actually wanted to be on this podcast, and I said sure, but he's never online when we're recording, so we just sort of silently went ahead and kept recording without him.
Yeah.
No, I've told him already. Like, if he'd ever want to, he'd have to like organize in advance with us, because this isn't something that we really do just on the spot. We do kind of, surprisingly enough, we do actually plan for these. Not very well. Because we don't come here with topics ready. Like, this is all off the cuff, this whole show today.
Yeah.
But, like, we do organise, like, a week in advance, because you have to, like, I don't know, if you don't really appreciate it when you're younger, but, like, when you start hitting that 19, 20 threshold, you gain a lot more responsibilities, and you don't really know how to cope with them, usually. So it makes stuff like organisation a lot more difficult. Well, not more difficult, more necessary, I guess, just to live a decent life.
Yeah.
It's like, if I had the same organisation skills I had when I was 12, I'd be fucked. But I think that's true for anyone.
Yeah. So go back to your point with Scorsese and the idea of true fans.
Oh, right.
And how you would spend £100 on him.
So Scorsese makes around, let me think, he makes about $300 to $400 a month on Patreon. Somewhere in that ballpark. He doesn't. I don't think he shows his income on there. But he makes that much. So multiply that by 12, and that gives you $2,400 a year, which is not that great. It's like all right. But then he does commissions as well, and he can. I don't think there's actually like. I don't think he's ever been without commissions to do, but I can't tell if that's because he backlogs a lot of them, or it's because he has like a very constant influx. I honestly couldn't say. But let's assume he's got a constant influx, because it seems like that's the case.
Yeah.
He can very easily do about 3 commissions a day. At about, because they're all sketches normally, he tends to make about $15. So he could. Okay. So let's say he makes 15 times by 3 a day. That is 45. 45 times by, let's say he works 5 days a week. This is mental maths, the podcast.
Yeah.
Just thought people would like to know. So, oh god. You know, I'm just going to grab a calculator. That would make things a lot quicker.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh god, no. The whole organisation thing I said earlier is falling apart because I can't find my calculator.
Just use like the Windows one.
Ooh, good call. So let's say 45... times by 5.
Yeah, numbers.
Times by... How many weeks are there in a year again? 54?
55.
Or 55. So yeah, if he were to work at that rate, he'd make about 14 grand a year?
Yeah, that's...
But Scorsese doesn't... I wouldn't say Scorsese has 10,000 true followers. I'd say he has maybe...
Yeah, oh no.
I'd say he has
it's
maybe a couple hundred tops.
Yeah.
From memory. Because I mean, I'm bad with real life names, but generally good with, like, screen names. And Scorsese does have a lot of people that like his content. Contrary to what I said earlier, he does have a very small social media following. He just magically has big numbers next to the follower count. It's very strange. But, no, you don't need, like... You do not need 1,000 true followers, air quotes, to make a living. That's more, I imagine...
Well, it's not a living, it's like a comfortable...
Yeah.
It's like a comfortable life with, like... Does he pay rent?
He does not... Actually, I don't know what he does as far as paying rent. And to be honest, I don't know if I should disclose too much about him. I mean, I was just sort of using him as, like, a money example. But, like... I think... You know what, here's a good example, actually. A better one. You know Slugbox?
Yeah?
He has about 1,000 people on his Patreon, more or less, and they all do $1 donations. Okay. And that provides him a living income. So he clearly can make it. In fact, it's actually better that way, because he doesn't depend on, like, big donators as much. In fact, that was explicitly what he said when he set up his Patreon, which I think is a good idea. It's like, oh boy, you know, instead of having one guy donate $100 a month, and then, like, 5 guys do, like, $1 each, here we go, 1,200 patrons. So yeah, that's a hearty living, right there.
Yeah.
And, oh god, also something that I pity. People who do high-end patron tiers and just can't maintain it because it's too intense.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? The people who are like,
for
an extra $4, I will do a full commission a month for you. It's like, oh no, that's not good at all.
Okay, so coming up to like the 30-minute mark, we've gone over a substantial amount actually.
Yeah,
should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we should wrap this up. Where can people find you, I guess?
Oh, I set up like links on the channel last time, so like.
Okay then. Well.
So we've actually got that working now.
Nice. So, if you want to follow us on the social medias, check the description down below.
Click on the massive button at the top that says George's blog, or the small one next to it that says Coro's blog.
Yeah, I'll have switched the HTML, so don't worry. But
okay.
So yeah, anyway, this podcast is brought to you by moist weather. Moist weather. For when you can't really do anything else but talk into a microphone.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I hope everybody listening to this has had a good time. I've been Coro.
I've been George.
Alright, well,
see ya.
See ya.